pattern that each time I go forward in business, there's a big family crisis where someone is in hospital having a near-death experience. First, it was my husband's health and my sister-in-law, now my eldest brother. I noticed that the rescuer archetype, when doing CPR on my dad, being in hospital with my mum when she passed, then my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, even being first on the scene of my daughter's near-fatal car accidents, and on and on. There have been examples of me being the one there in a crisis or stepping up when my family needs help, like when my parents' house burnt down when I was in my 20s. My thinking was to put faith in God as my number one value, as I believe I've been conditioned to take on my loved ones' pain since childhood. And finally, since doing EMF, I believe this is a friendly universe and it's not mine to hold. Also, I've now placed my own health and vitality as number two, as I can't help anyone by becoming sick myself. In universal love, authenticity, creativity, and courage, number six, which feels aligned with my next chapter, next level character. I've processed so much over the years, but this feels like something that's still holding me back in my business. Please help me if this sounds like I'm on track with my pattern. I love the fact that you're, well, I say spotting this pattern. It seems like it's fairly hard not to spot the pattern with how evident and in your face it actually is. But the way you've explored here, Nancy, is phenomenal, right? Because you're looking at this from a place of, okay, why am I generating these scenarios? And it's very similar to how I, in my life, in my 20s, I would create almost like crisis in business that I would essentially have to back myself into a corner against all of the odds to get out of. Why? When I looked at this and I first started understanding this work, it was pretty simple. Self-evident. Because I got my significance, which was one of my highest driving values in my 20s, probably the highest. I got my validation of my significance by my ability to beat the odds. Yeah, the hero pattern. I needed to be a hero. Now, what does a hero need to be a hero? It needs a villain. Don't get a hero without a villain, right? So I needed to create situations unconsciously whereby I then was forced against the odds to try to save the day, save the business, save this, save that, pull it out of the bag, pull it out of my ass, whatever I had to do. And I did. In other words, I defined myself by my ability to do the impossible. Which allowed me to unconsciously create more villains to validate. Now, if that sounds a little bit like, or let me have a little look. What was it? I say, I'm more, is this pattern anything to do with my values of love and connection being linked unconsciously to pain and suffering? I wouldn't say unconsciously to pain and suffering. I would say more like love and connection and validation and acceptance and worthiness of love being linked to being able to save the people I care about. That would more fit the bill than pain and suffering. It just feels like pain and suffering, like it felt for me, pain and suffering, having to pull my business back from the brink 50 times a week. Right? Yeah. I just want stable cash flow. I just want, stuff that, don't screw it up. I just want, no, because then it'd be a boring business, and, boring businesses don't need heroes to, dynamic super entrepreneurs to, figure it all out and do it all over again. And I had businesses crash and burn to the ground, and how many times have I built back up? Right now, I don't define myself now by pulling stuff out of the bag. I know I can. Well, I've got enough references for knowing that no matter what happens, I'll figure it out. The universe will figure it out now, but so you've got a situation whereby you can step in and help. your parents, your brother, your father, whatever it may be. You just don't need to do it now in order to be worthy of their love. And having lived through that pattern, the chances are you're probably going to be attracting some clients in your coaching business that you can hold up a mirror for. Who's that? Somebody hit them with a silent stick, please. So, is this making sense, by the way, guys? Yeah. So, the fact that you're as aware of this and you are looking through that level of nuance that, by the way, most people will go to their grave unconscious of, wondering why they just repeat the pattern. Again, whenever you see patterns repeating, it's an area of fascination, not frustration. Right? If you're in victim mode or buy me, it's frustration. If you're in through me, it's an area of fascination because you become a detective. Okay, why is that happening? Yeah, and just like Nancy was saying, is there a link here? Why am I creating this as a continuation? What needs are being met?
1609.
Oh, I think it's Scarlett Daniel there that needs to put herself on mute. Thank you very much. There we go. Right. And again, rule number one, don't beat yourself up over it. Yeah, we've covered that. Right. These things are here in order to bring them to your conscious awareness. That's the gift of frustration. And just like the gift of fear, what is the gift of fear? The gift of fear is to get your attention to look at something. Because we were never taught in school the difference between fear and danger. They're two different things. Fear is the warning light on the dashboard that says you're low on fuel. The danger is running out of fuel. But if you don't have a warning light on the dash, you're likely not going to go to a gas station in time. Fear is the warning sign that there's a snake on the tree. Yeah, the danger is the snake. And the fact that the fear's allowed you to walk around it rather than underneath it. Really follow? So fear is a good thing unless you buy into it past its job. Ooh. Oh, I'm scared I can't pay the mortgage. No, your mind is creating anxiety because it's pointing towards a financial situation you need to go deal with. So stop being scared and go deal with it. But lying there awake at night, yeah, flooding your body with cortisol and cutting yourself off from the solution that that exists in the quantum field. Bear in mind, problems are not the norm. Engineers don't design computers to be inefficient. Mechanics don't design cars to be inefficient. Architects don't design buildings to be inefficient. This system, this larger consciousness system, this earth school that we're in, wasn't designed to be inefficient, which means when there is inefficiency, stickiness, what you call problems, there is a natural, elegant solution that exists in the quantum field. It's an elegant, easy solution that exists to every challenge that you have, because the universe only has to raise its little finger to fix it. You can't see that, and nor can you access it from by me. So if you stay in fear, it's because you've created situations that you perceive to be problems. There are no problems. There's opportunities to learn and grow, and there's situations that require you to step up and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, welcome to Earth School. But ultimately, if you're experiencing lots of problems, it's not the norm. Life doesn't want you to have problems. It'll give you opportunities to grow. But if you're constantly experiencing problems, it's because you probably had a rules and values set that's caused some friction around your ability to live a more elegant life, i.e., less access to being loving and more access to being fearful. If you want to phrase it in a different way, you're going to experience some drama. You have a lower level of consciousness, you're going to be experiencing more drama. We can get into this more in module 12. So what is the actual reason why you're manifesting this? Well, here's what I do know. Whatever it is, it shouldn't stop you from building your coaching business because you think you've got some moral duty or obligation to serve other people in their time of need. But you'll continue to do that if you keep validating yourself by having to help people or be worthy of connection or live up to the identity. Now, again, as a young entrepreneur, what was my identity? It was like Wonder Boy. Why? Because that's how everybody saw me. Yeah, how many people that I went to school with in their early mid-20s are buying Ferraris and doing all that stuff and being their own boss and building companies and financially independent. No, that's not part of the script. Some of my friends were still in education at that point. So they look at me, or my perception rather, is that they look at me and the feedback I was getting was like, wow, you've made it. I feel insecure underneath. Right. But I'm the guy that can do it. I'm the wonder boy. I need to start another business. I need to get the idea. I was validating my identity through manufacturing unconsciously self-sabotage and crisis so that I could demonstrate again that I was, Wonder Boy.